Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or you're just happy to see me?
Hello, everyone, buddy. Thank you for everyone who's showing up. I know I'm competing with Ryan because he's streaming now, but I'm not going to fault him because I guess this is the only time that he could do it with his special guest. So, but for everyone here, I'm much appreciated. We're going to be talking about a few cringe articles, and believe you me, there's been plenty of cringe this past week. Plenty of cringe, but I picked out 3 since we only have so much time. But before I go and say hello to the chat, I'm going to introduce who's been my co-host these past several live streams, Steve Kenobi. Let everybody know all about you, where they can find you.
Hi. Usually I'm here on Wednesdays and with OG Star Wars on Thursdays, where we talk about old Star Wars comics. Other than that, I just pop on randomly if I'm awake and people want me on, I guess.
Could you do me a favor? I meant to get the link, but could you post the link to that D&D thing and the stream on this is brought to you by D&D is played by Satanists?
Oh yeah.
Clip. Since we play D&D, we played regular D&D, and then we're playing Conan D&D, and I find myself wanting to say Hail Satan every so often, apparently. So go figure. But yeah, but I remember that from the 80s. I remember that from the 80s and early 90s, how the whole mentality of those against D&D was those if you played D&D, you the natural progression was you were going to join. Look into the occult and join devil worshippers. And I blame something apparently.
I must have missed those because I've never run into them.
Well, it was I think primarily in the West, in the U.S. and things like that, and the whole because we seem to go through periods of retardation when it comes to entertainment, and that was one of them.
You know what? Here's some cringe though. Yesterday was Gary Gygax Day.
Gary what?
Gary Gygax Day yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Wizards of the Coast did not honor him whatsoever. The guy who created D&D. They skipped him Disney skipped James Earl Jones and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so...
it's gone downhill. It's gone downhill.
Yeah, and they've been having a go at his son, too. Because he had referred to his wife as my woman. And they're trying to cancel him. And the lead writer of Dragon Age 3 at BioWare was also having some fierce goes at him a little while ago, which is ironic because... there would be no BioWare without D&D, because they basically made their name making the Baldur's Gate games, back in the day. So it's getting really cringe over in and around the D&D landscape.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but they've gone downhill. So, but let me say hello to the chat, and then we'll go into. One of the first topics we'll be talking about Dark Horse Comics looks to be committing, they want to commit sales seppuku, or at least I need to get a clip of Dr. Evil going, shh. That's what you want to say to these people who keep wanting to open their mouths. By saying comics are no longer just for straight white males, so they're for everybody, and I'm like, no shit, Sherlock.
I mean, they've been for everyone since they started.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No shit, Sherlock.
I mean, I remember my grandmother had Superman comics and Western comics. Cowboys and Indian stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the new Predator movie. Well, it's not definite. I would not put it past them to make it PG-13 because it's the Disney Predator. Disney owns the studio now, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's a PG-13 Predator. and how Ratchet and Clank, of all games, is under fire, or at least like the writers are at odds with the directors because they don't like the feminine look of Rivet. So it's an animal. It's basically like just a piece of fucking furries, pretty much. That's all they have to do. But it is what it is. But I'm going to say hello to the chat, and then we'll start getting into one of the topics. This is the first comment I see right here. And I know, Maza, you had the first comment because you said do a backflip. And no, I'm not going to do a backflip. Maybe I'll do a video one of these days of me doing a judo break fall, but I'm not going to do a backflip. So, but speaking of Maza, it's like, well, I guess I'm here now. So good to see you. Hope you're having a good rest of your day, because it's, I think, like morning your time still. So hope you have a good day. Dr. Coffin Nails, well, you were in here early, so hopefully it wasn't too long, but thank you for stopping by. Joseph Bieniewicz, very likely butchering your last name, and I do apologize, but he says, hey, Dr. Coffin Nails, how's it going? One of the funniest mods. Hope you're having a good day as well, Joseph. Trey Courtney, what up? Fuck PG-13 Predator. That's, I think, the general consensus, pretty much. Michelle Jolin, good evening to you. And yes, I was actually technically on time. Not like maybe 30 seconds late. Hey, Keely Chow, good evening to you. Metalong, good evening. Hello, Damajanai, good evening to you. The Senate, sup. Cuckold Simulator needs to update because I need to see some more streams of that game. But I want to thank you again for gifting that to Lethal. Ms. Martin Muses, hello, good evening to you. Looking forward to playing some more Conan D&D this coming, at least Sunday, but we'll see what the schedule's like the rest of the week. 350 super chat from Open Airlock Policy. For another super chat, can I ask an off-topic question? Sure. You can ask the question. I'm not sure if I can answer it, but you're more than willing to do so. So good evening to you. Good evening to you, Open Airlock Policy. Hope you're doing well as well. Steven, hey, Mara and Sig, good evening to you. Black Samurai, what up? What up? Yes. Yeah, D&D obviously led me to Devil Worship. Yes, obviously. Yeah, apparently.
I would like to toss in a comment about that because, well, it has led to at least 4 women cussing a lot more than they used to.
No, well, I mean, me?
Well,
you including me in that?
Actually 3 then. You don't count.
I'm like, I've had a mouth on me for like as long as I can remember. One of my first words, and I'm not kidding, one of my first words I learned when I was learning how to talk was jackass. Not even kidding.
Well, you know what? You're probably the one that cusses the least. Now,
probably. Currently. I mean, when I do cuss, it's like a sailor. But
yeah, when you're inside a toad being eaten and stuff. But
yeah, because I'm like, hurry the fuck up. Cut it open. Pretty well, because like the only thing I could do is like it gets to my turn, it's like roll a Constitution check to see if you pass out or not. I'm like, okay, that's all I could do. Dave Myers, hey Mara, never heard. Well, now you hear Stieg. Here he is.
I've seen him in chats before.
Yeah. Speaking of Lethal, congratulations to him. His live channel hit 1K subs this evening, so he'll be able to monetize his channel well before his September deadline that he placed for himself. So I want to see congratulations in the chat for Lethal Lightning hitting 1K subs on his live channel. Chat jumped on me. Sorry.
Lethal sent me a boomerang the other day. It never arrived.
Zekarot, howdy y'all. Good evening to you. Cowman plays. I'm lurking. I'm enjoying watching. Cowman and Chunk the Punk have been playing Resident Evil 6. And it is funny as hell to watch sometimes. So yeah, but they're playing. I don't know the game that well. All I know is like the last campaign they're going to do is Leon's, and according to Cowman, Leon's is like the craziest one of the 3 campaigns. Yay! Now comics can appeal to my bi fantasies. Just kidding. They've been doing that with Nightwing books. Yeah, pretty much. Liquid Blake, Lethal, you let down Russell Coit today. It's un-Australian. It was pretty un-Australian. No backflip, Maza. No backflip. Like I said, I'm like, maybe I'll do a video of me doing a judo break fall, like a forward break fall. So maybe we'll see about that. Okay, close enough. Close enough. I think I'm just gonna call you Joseph, just to be safe. But thank you.
Can you do a
Phil,
bicycle kick?
no, I can't. I can't do
Really?
it. I used to be able to. I mean, I'm gonna have to work on this. But the only thing I could conceivably do as far as that is roll backwards and then up into a standing position, from a sitting. Because you'd have to learn that in Aikido, basically rolling backwards just in
Yeah.
case.
I can still do a bicycle kick. You know, for soccer.
Mm-hmm.
I land faster. You know, but
You do.
but I can still do it. But I can't. If someone passes the ball at me, I can't control the ball. It just it's weird. I can do volleys, but not simple things.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Phil TMNT, hey Mara, looking great as always. Thank you so much. Hey Stieg, totally abandoned the stream to be here. Well, thank you so much, Phil. Good to see you. Nathan Stein, what I missed? Not yet. I'm going through the chat, but we will be getting into Dark Horse Comics. They're on the Cringe Factor today. Ratchet and Clank, of all things, and the new Predator movie possibly being PG-13. So there's that. So yeah. Let's see. Okay, here is thoughts on Simone Biles. Well, I gotta look that up because I'm been basically busy and out of the loop on some things, but I will let you know. About that. But thank you for the 750 super chat, open airlock policy. You actually did not have to do that. You could just type the question. I would have seen it. But thank you so much. I will let you know my thoughts on that. Let's see. Good evening, Carnage. See your comment.
Excellent nickname.
Okay. Yes. And I see congratulations for Lethal in the chat. So thank you so much. Yes, he had a kind of a self-imposed deadline of the end of September to reach 1K on his live channel. Otherwise, he was going to lose a bunch of watch time. So he got there tonight, well before the deadline. So he's going to be able to monetize that channel moving forward, which is a good thing because if he gets any more porn stars on his channel, that'll be a nice way to make sure that stays monetized. So I'm happy for him. I'm very happy for him. And next step is to get his gaming channel to 1K subscribers. So that will be our next goal, to get his gaming channel to 1K subscribers. You can do barrel rolls, just both shoulders buttons at the same time. Yeah. And Trey Courtney's like, fuck Kevin Smith. Yeah. Any thoughts on the Kevin Smith debacle? All he would have really had to do is a few things. One, either when the whole thing was leading up to Masters of the Universe Revelation, not say anything, or at the very least, just say, hope you, I can't say anything about the show, but I hope you enjoy what I have to offer you. Or, and this is a big, and would have been surprised at the brutal honesty if he had just been honest from the get-go and say that the show is going to focus on Tila. Which would not have been an issue for the most part if she had been done right, but would not have been an issue necessarily because she's a beloved character along with He-Man. So
I have something to add to that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Smith, back in the day, made a DVD commentary thing about Tim Burton, where he was bashing Tim Burton for breaking the lore in the Batman movies. It's over 2 hours long. So it's okay if he does it and sells it, but not if fans criticize him for breaking the lore and whatever. And he also did a one about Star Wars for the prequel trilogy. He made a little cartoon thing where he puts George Lucas on trial. So he's a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, someone posted the clip of that.
Yeah.
The Clerks cartoon. All right. To answer your question, or at least like to make sure that this is the correct what you're looking for. Are you talking about how she's been called out for withdrawing from 2 Olympic events in Tokyo? Is that what you're talking about? Which, let's see, what's the reason? Mental health concerns. What the fuck? I mean, okay, I mean, maybe, but at the same time, it's like if you had genuine mental health concerns, you should not have gone to the Olympics.
You know what though? In the Euros this summer, Christian Eriksen had a heart attack and almost died on the pitch. The other players kept playing. They finished the match. If they can do that, having a friend possibly being dead at the hospital while they're playing, surely she can do the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying like mental health. Well, there weren't enough safe spaces in Tokyo. I mean, I understand like there's a level of stress, especially when you're competing at that level, but at the same time, it's just stress. You do breathing exercises, you meditate, you that shit I learned when I was younger, and how to deal with stress. I'm not seeing like any legitimate reasons why she would have to pull out. And like emotional stress. What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna borrow what Kevin Smith said. Grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up.
Which branch is she competing in?
She's a gymnast. She's a gymnast.
So she's only going to do the stuff she's doing for a couple of minutes. Doesn't take that long.
Well, sorry, someone was talking to me. And I had to go off camera.
I thought your StreamYard's crashed again.
No. Sorry, you were talking and I didn't want to interrupt you, so I just went off camera real fast and muted myself. But yeah, it's like she's a gymnast.
Yeah.
And I guess according to Teresa, she did a bad vault and lost it. It's like, oh, poor baby. It's like cue the world's smallest violin.
She only has to do the gymnast
3000. Good to see you.
She only has to do that stuff for a couple of minutes.
I don't know.
It's not like she's sprinting a marathon.
Yeah, and it's according to Open Policy, is becoming an SJW cause apparently because they're praising. They're praising her for admitting her emotional stress. Yes, they're praising her for needing a safe space apparently.
Yeah. You quit. You're brave.
Yeah, pretty much. So stunning, so brave. You quit.
She literally flipped out.
Yes. Okay. Now, Clown World. The narrative's fucked. She was one of the ones who one of the people supposedly abused by that gymnastics coach, but I think it's a stretch to use as an excuse to withdraw. I mean, yeah, especially when that coach is no longer in the picture. And like if that really was a traumatic experience for you, then I would have if I had been her, I would have taken time away from the team before the Olympics. Just say, hey, I need to take a break, and so I don't just basically disappoint you, so I don't fail you. That's what I would have done.
You know what? 6 years ago, I think there was a huge thing in English football, Premier League. Former Premier League players, Leeds United players, had been, when they were teens, had been sexually abused by a football coach, and they had been abused pretty badly. There were 3 or 4 of them, all of which played in the Premier League afterwards, and they had to live with the fact that it was being hushed down, and they knew that coach was training the next generation of players, right? They kept on with their career. All of them had a career that spanned about 20 years. and a couple of them had a breakdown afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 20 years of that, they still did their job.
Yes. It's basically just this current generation. It's just, I think the older generations would be looking on this and going like, "Why the fuck did we fight wars for?" Look at this shit. Whenever you get in okay, this is I guess quote her, the 24-year-old. Whenever you get in a high stress situation, you kind of freak out. I had to focus on my mental health and not jeopardize my health and well-being. My health and well-being, not jeopardize maybe the team. The team's
Bet you took the sponsor money first, though.
Yeah. And like, when I was 24, I was serving in the military. So to wrap up this conversation so we can get into other topics. When I was 24, I enlisted, I was in the military, and I'm like, so my last words are, fuck you and fuck this. If this is jeopardizing your mental health, then quit. Go find a safe space somewhere. Go write for some, like the Huffington Post or whatever, and just like not fail your teammates again. That's all I'm going to say about that. Sunny Brave Megatron, I fucked the narrative. Yes, you did. Hound 3000, Wolf Arf Bark. Good evening to you, Hound 3000. Okay. Hey, Mr. Bentham, hello everyone. Good evening to you. No, she is the United States team. So, and you're welcome, Joseph. Thank you so much for thanking me. So there it is. All right, so we have 3 topics. I'm going to leave it up to my co-host to pick which one he wants to cover first. So, which one? Predator, Dark Horse, or Ratchet and Clank?
Let's go with the Ratchet and Clank.
All right.
I don't know too much about that one, but I want to hear it.
Okay, so this is Rivet. Ratchet and Clank, a Rift Apart character artist, reveals writing team took issue with directors over Rivet's feminine, quote unquote, feminine appearance.
Doesn't even look that feminine. I mean,
she's a little curvy. She's a little curvy, but
yeah, you can tell it's a girl, but that's pretty much it.
I think that's the problem. You can tell it's a girl, and there's no gender. There's more than 2 genders, so you have to you can't just obviously make it a female looking character.
I don't even think Lyndon would be turned on by that one.
Probably not. Hey, Jock Nerdy, good evening to you. Oh, chat something on me. Thank you for your service, Decepticon Army. Thank you so much, Sunny and Brave Megatron. Yep. Yep. So let's go into this article. All right. In light of the recent news that Activision Blizzard has been hit with a lawsuit over their alleged fostering of a, quote, frat boy workplace culture, Ratchet and Clank, a Rift Apart character artist, Xavier Coelho Costolini, recently put forth a disagreement between the game's writers and directors over the feminine appearance of the game's lead female, Rivet, as a purported example of a studio environment which was hostile to women and all kinds of other marginalized people in game dev. Okay. I'm not exactly on one side or the other. I did say in my recent video that I posted that, from what I'm hearing, outside of just the news sources, that these allegations I believe are plausible. But when you have this quote, other marginalized people in game dev, you're starting to lose whatever support I have for your cause. I'm not defending the executives, because I think there's blame all around in the situation. Yeah, I think there's blame all around in the situation. But
even if the executives behave poorly and all that, it has nothing to do with the art style.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, and it's. I don't even know what fucking animal she's supposed to be. I never really played the Ratchet and Clank games, so I don't know what she's supposed to be, but apparently I guess she's too feminine, and it further emphasizes the accusations, or at least what one of the things they're accusing Activision Blizzard of. And
I don't know, is it a mouse?
I don't know. See, no, I don't know.
Does anyone in the chat know?
Yes, please. If anyone in the chat has played this game, let me know what she's supposed to be, other than furry slippers for Linden, according to Liquid Blake. Okay, the guy, I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce his name again, recalled the incident on July 21st, taking to his personal Twitter account to tell his fellow men in game dev, especially those just now entering the industry, that there are a lot of things you may run into that aren't directly harmful to people in the same way as sexual harassment, but they still contribute to hostile environments and harm. Sounds like a male feminist. Sounds like a male feminist, Xavier. You sound like a male feminist.
You know what, though? This is a workplace issue. It should be handled at the workplace.
Okay, Lomax made up.
Not on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lomax. I remember Lomax the Lemming.
Lombax, yeah. So Lombax, yeah. So I guess like
Lombax.
Yeah. So I guess made up creatures. Okay, I figured it was kind of made up, but I wasn't sure what to call her. Why do they give a damn what they think? You got me, Soul Assassin. I have no fucking clue why they would even give a damn about these, but apparently they just. I guess they had the mentality of we were making too much money to begin with, so let's lose some. So. There's a strong chance I'm going to get flack for saying this publicly, he continued, but it's worth bringing up because it's an example of how small things contribute to building environments that are hostile to women and all kinds of other marginalized people in gameplay. Look at that. White savior. Yeah. Right fucking there.
They never seem to care if it's hostile towards men, though. I mean, a lot of guys get treated like shit at work, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Actually had a friend of mine quit because of it just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, the two sides of the same coin. They do. I believe they do get pegged. Something in Brave Megatron. So the character artist then detailed, when I was on the latest Ratchet and Clank game, there was an incredibly heated discussion that happened between the game director, art director, the lead writer, the lead character, TD, and myself about Rivet, the female lead. Note that 3 of the people above, including myself, are no longer at Insomniac, he added, before noting that he was not going to tag them because they're adults I trust to comment if they feel it's appropriate. Well, okay, whatever. According to him, the discussion or argument really was basically about whether we should make Rivet look more stereotypically feminine looking, specifically whether she should have wider hips, visible breasts or bumps in her suit, and other physical traits we normally associate with cartoony women. Associated with cartoony women, real fucking women have them. Has he seen a woman?
Let me take a stab in the dark here, though. The fact that this cartoon character got to have curves and boobs, that's what triggered people, because they don't have curves and boobs. You know, the people that work for them. And that's what created the bad environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue, you know. They were triggered because the cartoon one had boobs, and well, you know, their women had other parts.
These physical traits we normally associate with cartoony women. So apparently, because I'm rather, I guess, pear shaped, for one of a better way of putting it. It's based on the body shapes women have. I have wider hips. I have boobs, and those are apparently traits associated with cartoony women. So does that make me a cartoony woman, not a real woman?
It's insane. I mean,
yeah, I've never seen a woman calling it. This guy skipped sex ed. Yep. That is an unfortunately sad truth. That is an unfortunately sad truth, because now it's gone to a point where it's like political correctness and identity politics have become so pervasive in office environments that's just an innocent comment, nothing personal or whatever, as long as it's taken a certain way, could get you fired.
Well,
so
you know, video games and even, you know, cutesy cartoons or comics that has, you know, animal-ish characters. The women have the female ones have always had female traits. It's been a thing since probably 50s or 40s.
Well,
if you go
Probably,
by comics. I
probably a
mean,
bit, maybe a bit earlier, but definitely, yeah, beginning then,
yeah,
because
I
that
mean,
was
Minnie Mouse,
the
Dolly Duck,
characteristics of females.
yeah, Dolly Duck, Minnie Mouse.
So
I mean, holy crap! Though all of a sudden, it's it's a problem almost 100 years later. Then it's a problem.
yeah, uh, I'm. It's like I'm surprised I'm not a heavy drinker right now. Thank you, Marcus Henry. Jade is Bay. Thank you so much, Marcus. And oops, damn, jumped on me. Jacob Caledonian son.
Caledonian.
Caledonian. I can't read. Hello, all. Thank you so much, Jacob. Good to see you. So, moving on in the stupidity. The argument basically broke down like this, he explained. The game director and art director wanted her to have a visibly fairly stereotypical feminine look. The lead writer, the lead character TD, and I wanted to keep her as is. Now, I don't know how she was as is.
That's the key
who
word,
cares?
though. The key word.
Yeah.
Stereotypically feminine look.
Yes.
Yeah, trans people don't have that. That's the issue.
No, and I guess I have a stereotypical feminine look.
Yeah.
So
but that's the marginalized people they're talking about and stuff. It's a stereotypical, he's referring to the classic female look as a stereotypical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, other women don't have that, which is, what he's talking about.
Yeah. Well, because he didn't bring, at least early in the article brought up, other marginalized groups. So, you're going to be including the LGBTQ class in there to include the trans.
It's the T.
Yeah, the trans of the LGBTQ demographic.
Did you see that the L's are having a huge problem with the T's now? They're royally fed up. It's been a news thing. Actually going to talk about it on Nina's channel afterwards. And I know this for a fact too, because I have a friend that is a lesbian, and she has been ranting about the T's for quite a while now. The L's are fed up with the T's, big time.
I think the G's are just fed up with everyone. Can we just go back to just being gay, please?
Yep.
I think they're fed up with everyone.
You know what? Those letters, as soon as you spread them, they're pretty normal. But when you put them together, they just go nuts.
Michael Quaid, Mara Hale, I'm sorry I'm late. I was partying with a fun group of midgets. No worries, Michael Quaid. Good to see you. Hope you enjoyed the live stream.
Hope you had a lot of fun small talk.
Yep. All right, moving on in the stupidity. Noting that, quote, this is where things get into territory that men like myself and game dev need to really fucking pay really fucking close attention. And has to capitalize it to be put emphasis on that. He described how the lead writer was a woman. The lead character TD was a trans person who at the time had not transitioned, while everyone else in the discussion was a white cis male. There it fucking is.
I called
there it
it.
Fucking is. But it's a trans person who had not yet transitioned, so they all only identified as trans.
Yeah.
There it fucking is.
Why do you need trans people in a game about animals?
You don't. You really don't. You really don't need it. Period. But you especially don't need it in a game where it's where, oh my god, animals, furries.
Yeah.
Pretty much. You don't need it.
No, you can have it in other games.
No worries, Michael. Good. I'm happy you're here anyway.
You can even have a GTA character that's trans. It doesn't matter. It's a character, but why put it in that though? It isn't.
Yeah, but
well, I've never played these games, but I'm gonna assume it's for a younger audience, given the animals.
I mean, it looks to be at least primarily directed at the younger type of audience, in terms of the graphics and things like that. I'm pretty sure there are people fairly close to my age who probably still play it. But I'm saying okay, I'm gonna preface this with this: I don't care if I play a game and there's a gay character or a trans character or whatever, as long as that's not the emphasis on that character, I don't care.
The best written gay character I've seen in a video game is Dorian in Dragon Age 3, who happens to be gay. Some of it has to actually to do with his background, and you know, it ties into his background, how he grew up in a wizard society and being gay, and his dad wanted the family to, you know, the bloodline to keep going, right? So then you have a problem. The only son is gay. Tremendously well written, and probably the best character in the whole damn series. Because they did it well. And while there was a little bit about him, you know, being gay, his main purpose in the game was to actually help you figure out some time travel issues.
Yeah, but I'm saying that wasn't his emphasis. He was like basically a good character who happened to be gay, not a gay, like basically not a gay character. That's like that's where I take issue. And it's when you emphasize one superficial characteristics of the game.
There was no outcry.
I mean, hell, when I played Knights of the Old Knights of the Old Republic, the first one, what's her name, Juhani.
Yeah.
No one fucking cared.
Trivia for you: the lady who voices Juhani is the same one who voices Jack in Mass Effect. Can't tell, right?
No,
she's damn good.
Yeah, but like I said, you know, like her sexuality was made known, but no one cared.
Yeah,
because that wasn't the purpose of her character.
No.
All right, so moving on. At the time the argument occurred, there were 2 women and 1 female presenting trans. Oh fucking hell! Female presenting trans person on the team. That trans person had lived their life up to that point as a woman and had the lived experience thereof. Everyone else on the 20+ person team was a man. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? The female presenting trans person. Okay, that's the trans person. That's the person who's lived their life up to that point as a woman who now, I guess, identifies as a fucking man.
Well, then that person counts as a man then.
Then use the fucking male pronouns. Aren't they all about that?
It's getting difficult to keep up.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree there, but this is the side that's all about pronouns and not misgendering. Otherwise, like, they get triggered. So how about, I guess, he just called, like, I don't know. I'm just...
Formerly female? Is that triggering too? I don't know.
Yes, I did. Well, I have seen Black Lagoon, yes. Revy on the corner, yep.
I've started it.
What do you think of it so far?
Not too much to go on yet, but it caught my interest, you know, and it's holding it.
Yeah, told him.
What?
I said I told you.
Yeah. Well, I listened to you and Lethal and Stephanie when you guys tell me to read or watch something.
All right.
So far, I've not been disappointed, by the way.
There you go. So he said 2/3 of the women on the team, as well as 1 cis white man, me. You know, I guess
look at him though.
Male feminist.
That's questionable.
Look
at the guy.
Yeah, we're telling the art director.
He's entirely honest with himself.
No, he's not. We're telling the art director and game lead that Rivet should not, as an alien space fox, have wide hips and titties.
Why not? Shouldn't she look foxy?
I'm like, who? It's kind of like the how the redesign of Lola Bunny from Space Jam 2 for Space Jam 2. She was feminine looking in the first one. She wasn't like overtly feminine looking, but she had at least a little bit of curves to tell, hey, she's a fucking female.
Yeah.
She's a female rabbit.
You know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna call this the furry society, if it's something, the community or something, they're gonna get pissed at this guy.
Hey,
So
Movie Metal Rock.
he's gonna be the first one to get canceled by the furries.
Oh, probably, yeah. Movie Metal Rock McDonald, good evening to you. Lots of video game creators put LGBT characters in their games just to prove they're not homophobic. Normal people aren't going to care if a video game has a gay character or not. Yes, case in point. Speaking of Naughty Dog, fuck Naughty Dog, but speaking of just bring up Naughty Dog, it was revealed, I say revealed, that Ellie was a lesbian in The Last of Us Left Behind, kind of like the short game post The Last of Us, the first Last of Us. So basically, it's been known for almost 10 years that this character is a gay character, but no one cared. No one cared. And you pointed out the other character in Dragon Age 3. No one cares because the emphasis should not be on the sexuality.
He's one of the companions.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of them are bisexuals too. That has been a thing since the first Dragon Age game, which is from 2007. I mean,
even Mass Effect, you could be like you could play your character as bisexual because your character could romance anyone.
Straight up gay too.
Yeah, anyone. I mean, like the sky's the limit in Mass Effect. You could be straight, bisexual, or gay.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the emphasis on the game.
Yeah. You know what?
Roger H with this $1.99 super sticker. I can only assume it's the thumbs up. Thank you so much for the super sticker.
Ultima 6, an RPG from 1990, made by Origin, which was basically the BioWare of the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You could be gay in it. Being gay in an RPG has been a thing since at least 1990.
And I say at least then, maybe a bit sooner, but it's been almost 30. It's been 30 years.
Yeah.
It's never been an issue, never been any issue until the safe space generation started infiltrating game development.
Yeah, okay, Fallout and Skyrim too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, Fallout 2 lets you become a porn star if you want to. Yeah.
As listed by the dude here, I'm not going to bother saying his name. The main sticking points for those opposed to Rivet being depicted as more feminine were their beliefs that it went against the message of the game, which is that anyone could be a hero regardless of how they look. You don't need to be stereotypically feminine to be a woman, hence the trans. And Rivet is a fucking alien space fox just like Ratchet. So, but who cares? So Lola Bunny was a bunny just like Bugs, and she still has slight curves.
You know what the problem is though?
Mm-hmm.
They aren't allowing anyone that looks like a woman to be a hero these days because they cover them up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even in the new Mortal Kombat game, the women were pretty covered up compared to the previous games.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
women bad.
Yeah, but that's why I say if masculinity is so toxic, why are they making their women less feminine? Why are they making them more masculine if it's so toxic? Like, wouldn't this be kind of a good thing to make it like a femininely looking, but yet strong character?
Yeah.
But no, it's bad because it's stereotypically feminine, and we can't have that because it has to tell everyone that no matter how they look, they can be the hero. Hence, you got to include the trans community. Nothing against them, but this is the angle that he's coming from.
Dana Scully was a big damn hero. She was feminine.
Yeah, so
she would have been a problem today, I imagine.
Oh, definitely. The argument had been going on for about half an hour before I finally pulled one of the framed Ratchet and Clank posters down from the wall, put it in front of both leads, and told them to look at the damn thing and tell me how much Ratchet looked like a human man. Who cares? Eventually, the argument largely petered out after that point, with all parties leaving incredibly frustrated and myself leaving the company a few weeks later.
I'm sure they cried.
So stunning, so brave. In conclusion to his thread, he summarized, "So, fellow men in game dev, this is an example of one of the very small things that build up over time to make life miserable for women and marginalized people in our industry, and declare that something as simple as putting titties on a space rat can harm people."
You know what? You know what I think happened? There was an argument about that because he threw a hissy fit. And now, due to sheer narcissism, he quit and he's trying to make himself look like a martyr.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've seen this so many times, you know, which is why it takes it public, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pure narcissism, and it's sadly it's very common. You know, basically, I quit my job and blah 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 because I was standing up for the
They make it about them.
yeah
They
yeah
make it about them, not about whatever community they're standing up for. They put the attention
yeah
back on them, but they're an ally.
yeah.
That's what they're doing.
He's basically in between the lines, just praising himself.
Yes, that's like basically it's like these people are all about promoting themselves as allies, but when you actually look at what they are doing, they are me
Yeah,
the whole time. They're not. If you are a true ally, then you let that community speak for itself, and you stand behind in support of it. That's what an ally is. You stand with them. You don't speak for them.
yeah. You know the old saying. You know what is said and done in my name reflects on me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the stupidity and insanity he's doing is making the LGBTQ community look crazy, and a lot of people are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know a few gay people. They're normal, nice people.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing special about them. They're just gay. You know, normal. They have the same interests as everyone else. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I hear them all the time. They're fed up with people like this guy speaking on their behalf because it's making them look like crazy because it's being said in their name.
Yeah. It breaks people's trust when you allow things like this to happen unchallenged, he clarified. If you don't push back against tiny little things like giving Rivet tits, you're essentially saying those things don't matter. If the small things don't matter, where's the line for bigger things? Well, the small things sometimes don't fucking matter because they're small.
Small things don't matter and line for bigger things. Is he talking about the actual tits?
I don't know. He said, where's the line for bigger things? Well, why don't you maybe leave it up to that marginalized group to determine where that fucking line is?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the? Like, again, he's martyring himself.
This is a guy Tim should consider for his spacing on Friday.
Yeah, he probably should talk about this.
I mean,
who doesn't want to talk about like Space Fox
spaced
titties?
Yeah,
So
Space Fox titties.
Stance? Yeah. So what do you think of his stance?
That's the hill he dies on.
Space Fox titties. Yes, he dies on that hill.
Yeah, on behalf of the trans people, he dies on the hill, arguing about Space Fox titties.
I don't know. I was like, so basically, what do you think? I think this is just stupid. It is just downright stupid. He's and he puts the attention on himself. Look at me. I quit. I spoke up for you guys, and I quit on your basically on your behalf because I'm an ally, and I don't want to be in that work environment. So, way to make it all about you.
That was one long series of tweets, though.
Yeah.
He could have just said, "Yeah, I quit because of the Space Fox titties.
Yeah,
didn't like them."
No, he has to give a lecture. He has to give a lecture. That's the whole thing with these people. They have to give a lecture.
A moral lecture, a lecture about their stunning morals.
I don't think they know. Yeah. So there's that. I don't think there's really any much more we can say about that. It's just.
It actually makes me want to play the games, though.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like how all this cringe hasn't driven me to be like a heavy drinker, I have no idea. But that's the first topic. I'm going to close that window so I don't accidentally open it up again. All right. Okay. Do I have a coin? Yes, I do.
Toss it to the Witcher.
I was going to flip it like Harvey Dent and see heads, Dark Horse, or tails, Predator. All right.
Well done.
Yeah, I'm going to do that again. I wanted to show the camera so it didn't look like I was cheating. All right. Hold it there. Heads. The
Okay.
Dark Horse. I'll find the other coin later.
Oh, you lost it?
No, it fell down there. It fell behind
Oh.
something, and I don't want to look for it on stream. But okay. So Dark Horse Comics. We're gonna go into that Polygon article. So here it is, folks. Dark Horse promises it's not just straight white boy comics anymore.
Yeah. Well, it never was, because I know a lot of women who like them too.
$2 super chat from Mr. Bentham. They do that as a way to apply for other jobs. Yes, pretty much. I'm actually pretty good at flipping a coin. Basically did a lot of practicing when I was a kid. Dark Horse, you were the chosen one. Yes. All right, so let's get into this. Let's get into this stupidity right here. This cringe. All right, I guess it's meant to be. It should be the publisher. The publisher made it clear at San Diego Comic-Con, comics are for everybody. To that I say, no shit.
Yeah, it's always been. I mean, come on.
Always been. I mean,
there's
like these people are acting as if like every element in the entertainment industry has been like a He-Man Woman Haters Club with a bouncer at the door keeping marginalized groups out.
I mean, look at our little whatever community, whatever you want to call it, on Twitter and YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's gays, there's lesbians, there's bisexuals,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of women, a lot of all kinds of ethnicities. There's trans people. They like comics.
Yeah.
They didn't just start liking it right now because of Dark Horse. They've liked it for decades. So the whole argument is beyond stupid.
Yeah.
Isn't
Hellboy is the face of Dark Horse.
gay?
He's not human. No, he's not. He's his what he is literally in the name. So it's like,
isn't Moon Knight gay?
well, now he's gay. Now he's gay.
Okay.
Apparently, he didn't start out gay, but it's kind of like went the way of Iceman a while back, where they altered his character to be gay.
Okay.
But even like going with that, he's a gay character, and like I think it was I don't think anybody's really had an issue with that. And if Marvel was all about representation and diversity, and they're like using him, and they're going to use him as the gay version, he's been relegated to the streaming service because they know there's no way that they can promote him in China.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It wouldn't hurt if they had a few gay superheroes, though, because at the end of the day, there's not that many of them. I mean, there's Batwoman.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much the only one I know about.
Okay, they made him gay in 2006. I knew they some people were correcting me a while back, they made him gay. So it's about 15 years ago they made him gay. But there might not be many of those characters, but the fact remains they are there, and they are there for both DC and Marvel to use. And for some reason, they refuse to use the existing characters they have in their arsenal, the ones that are of the LGBTQ persuasion, and choose to instead swap the sexuality of other characters.
Yeah, the weird
why
thing
are you
is,
doing that?
it's not weird, but
or change or create more. You can do that as comics.
The gay people I know that read comics and all that, their favorite comics aren't about gay people. It's just Superman and Batman, whatever else everyone else likes.
Yeah.
It's not a sexuality thing at all.
No, but let's go into this article so we can get past this stupidity. Billed as a look at the future for one of the industry's leading independent publishers, the 35 Years of Dark Horse past and present panel at San Diego Comic-Con 2021 proved to be just as much a celebration of the medium and its evolution in the 3.5 decades past. Hosted by Dark Horse publicity maven Kate J., the panel was made up of writers Roy Akupe, Colin Bunn, Christopher Golden, and Faith Erin Hicks, as well as one of the most important figures in mainstream U.S. comics, editor Karen Berger, whose Berger Books imprint launched at the publisher in 2019. Okay,
Never heard of it.
Well, here she's gonna go. She's gonna go a little into her history here. Berger held court about her history in the industry, explaining that she was initially hired at DC Comics thanks to an interview set up in the early 1980s by a friend, writer J.M. DeMatteis, even though she wouldn't have classified herself as a comic book fan. So why the fuck did you accept a position at DC Comics? I'm not saying necessarily you have to be an uber comics fan, but at least be a fucking fan. And she still took the position. Okay. After working on a number of titles, including DC's horror anthologies, she explained, I fell in love with the medium. I love the collaborative aspect of creating comics, although she said that her lack of early fandom was what allowed her to become the editor that she did. Okay. I don't know why people bother going to school to learn how to write when they, it shows that, it's not helping. I gravitated towards comics that weren't male power fantasies, she said, adding, I was able to look at the medium and ask, why aren't we doing stories about real life? Real simple reason. It's their escapism. I don't want to fucking read about real life. Why isn't it about real life? That's reason why. Because people don't want to read about what's actually going on in the real world. They want to escape the real life. Oh God, Soul Assassin, please don't jinx that. Hold on one. All right. God, people keep bothering me. All right, so what are your thoughts so far on this article?
I think they're full of shit.
Pretty much.
This is a nothing burger.
Yes, it is. The result of this line of thought proved to be DC's much missed Vertigo line, which Berger founded in 1993 and headed up until 2013. As it happens, one of the initial Vertigo titles is returning to print via Berger Books, and Berger was enthusiastic when talking about the new edition of Peter Milligan and Duncan Fegredo's Enigma, which will get a hardcover edition this fall. I'm now thrilled to represent Enigma in the best package it's ever had in its life, she teased. At DC, we never reproduced it in the best fashion. Berger will also reteam with Devin Grayson, who wrote the Vertigo miniseries User, for a new series, Rewild. Berger described the title as a cli-fi story, a horror story about climate change. Okay, people in the chat, who wants to read that? Hey, Apollo Patriot.
Well, I hope Greta Thunberg is the villain. Then I'll read it.
Who wants to read? It seems like Mara would have 1,000 more viewers. Thank you so much. Truly interacts with us in the chat from time to time. Thank you so much, Michael. But getting a nope. Hold on. A nope. A nope. A not me. A hell no. Moses like, no, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. I'm good, fam. I'm good, fam. Carnage, not me. But she's pleased to announce this. Illustrated by Yana Adamovic, the book was described as kind of like Fables meets The Fisher King and features very mythologically beastly creatures who have been mutated and disfigured by what's happening to the climate.
I don't think that's how the climate change works, but I guess it mutates things now.
I need a drink.
Lore breaking right from the get-go.
Yeah. Apparently you should, according to this woman, but I'm wondering the same thing. The future of Burger Books, the editor revealed, also includes a change of format. Moving forward, each title will be released as an original graphic novel instead of being serialized in traditional comic form, something that she said was a combination of pandemic-inspired reevaluation of what kinds of projects she wanted to work on and simple economic reality. Burger Books titles have consistently sold better in collected format than in single issues. For me, for comics, it was always, how do you get to the book form? I agree with that to an extent. However, I think the biggest issue is not the serialized versions of the comics, is the fact that those serialized versions are predominantly taken up by ads. People buy those books, they want to read the content, they want to read the story, they don't want to comb through a couple pages every so often of ads. When you have like most of the book taken up by that, yeah, people are going to gravitate more towards like the compendiums or the graphic novels because those don't really have ads. They're the collected works. So that's the big reason why. It's not so much of the reason she's giving. So that's just my take. Yeah, not me either. Pass. I'd rather lose a thumb than have that. Nope. Trey Queen says, my climate change. No. I wouldn't read that even on the toilet. Reminds me of The Happening, the trees attacking people. Yes, the plants rising up and saying, hell no, we won't take it anymore. Okay. Okay, so although Dark Horse publishes a lot of creator-owned titles, it's also the home to a number of licensed titles, and Bunn, Golden, and Hicks all talked about their experience working on properties owned by outside companies. The creators of the video game were very open, Bunn said, about working on Cyberpunk 2099 tie-in series. I wasn't given marching orders for that comic. He was given figurines of characters he created for the comic, however. Hicks was similarly pleased by her time working on The Last of Us American Dreams, and here it is right here. The Last of Us was something where I did get to create a lot, she said, going on to reveal that she'd co-created backstory for Ellie with the game's writers, but admitted that it was terrifying to work on Avatar The Last Airbender in the graphic novels due to her love of the source material. I think it's the platonic idea of an animated television version for children. Why should that be? Okay. I could see it being terrifying to a degree, because like out of nervousness when you're working on something that you love, but the fact that I don't know, given everything I'm reading here and she's saying it's terrifying, it's almost like she's saying it's terrifying because she's changing some things. Now, I never got into Avatar The Last Airbender, but I don't know. And that artwork style for that Last of Us American Dreams is just shit. I'm sorry.
Oh, the one with the...
It looks like a young adult and artwork. Look at that.
It looks
Last of Us American Dreams.
Looks like a bad indie project.
Yeah. Roye Akupe, whose unique crowd-funded graphic novels included Exo, The Legend of Whale Williams, and Marika, Warrior Queen, will be re-released with new material by Dark Horse, explained that he got into comics by accident. I was too broke to do my own animated films, but it ended up being the best thing that could have happened. He said, wanting to tell African-inspired stories using African talent, he used Kickstarter to fund 10 graphic novels in 5 years and talked about how grateful he was for the opportunity afforded to him. Don't you feel represented, Trey Courtney? Yeah, that crap. I would rather read the book that's been on the back of the toilet for years. Did y'all see the new came out today? Huh.
Want to know something funny? A friend of mine was selling comics at a local, Facebook sales group.
Mm-hmm.
And he was overcharging for them. But every time I've, visited the guy,
mm-hmm.
since the 80s, those comics have been next to his toilet because he reads them. And and I recognized them on the sales page.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a huge stack of them. All of them. I've seen them before next to the toilet
Hey, hey,
since 1988 or
yeah.
something.
Hey, if it still works, hey. At this point in time, you have no excuse not to tell your story. Your story. Not a story, your story. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier than it's ever been, he said. What comics does better than any other medium is allow authentic people to tell authentic stories.
Fake virtue signalers to tell
Yeah.
diluted stories.
I feel like that, like the frustrated gifts, like just this is not what the medium was designed for.
Nope.
As the creators discussed the future of comics, all agreed that an increased focus on diversity in terms of characters and creators was what excited them all the most. As Berger put it, it's not just straight white boy comics anymore. I'm most excited that we are all in the industry attuned to the idea that comics are for everybody, no matter where they are in the world. No fucking shit, Sherlock. So there it is. Dark Horse wants to commit sale seppuku.
Well,
My story.
they're following the trend, though. I mean, isn't that what DC and Marvel's doing as well?
Yeah. This guy sounds like the My Truth type of person. Yes, your story, not a story, your story, which really does not belong in that medium unless you are doing a semi-biographical, autobiographical work. No, it doesn't belong. Your story doesn't belong. The story you create, a story, belongs. Hey, Epimay guy, are you sure? Yeah. So, but there it is. Yep, wanting to commit sales seppuku. Marvel's definitely on that route. DC is on that route, and Dark Horse. It's like, well, we don't want to feel left out. We don't want to feel left out. So, and we know manga's gonna stomp our ass anyway. So, fuck it. Let's commit sales seppuku.
You know what? For everyone who's watching that's fed up with, DC and Marvel or whatever it is that you like to read, with all of it being changed as much as it is, and you don't like it, take the money you were going to spend on DC and Marvel comics and just go backwards, buy old ones you don't have, start collecting the stuff from the 90s or 80s, whatever it is.
Yeah, by old ones, I mean, once I can like get more, like a little bit, at least more shelf space, I'm actually starting to wanting to like collect manga, because at least like there might be a little bit here and there of like maybe not, I would say identity politics, but a little bit here and there of like, okay, a little bit political correctness, but for the most part, it's all about the story.
Yeah, and I've said this about Star Wars as well. If you only read some EU or some comics or something, every time you buy something old that you haven't read before, that's brand new content.
Yeah,
it is. So go back and buy the stuff on eBay, right? So they don't get the money.
I actually I couldn't really go out last year, but like what I like to do is there's I don't know how many locations it has in the States, but there's a thrift books type store called Half Price Books, and they sell a bunch of stuff, like basically used, books, toys, games, and to include old comic books. So you can find like old comic books there. It's where I tend to go because the local comic book shop doesn't really, like, you can, but like depending on how far back you want to go, sometimes you can't really find them.
Just the experience of going to a thrift store is awesome. My city used to have a bunch of them, but now there's none of them. I greatly miss going to thrift stores because you'd find all kinds of cool stuff, and oh shit, I remember that comic. I had it when I was a kid, right? and you
Yep.
you just buy them.
Yeah, so that's where I like to go. I also use a site called Thrift Books from time to time because especially when I was still reading the Star Wars EU, and I didn't want to buy anything with the Legends banner on it. I would go through like Thrift Books and Better World Books and things like that to find older copies. And so like I was like the money was going towards that site and not Disney.
Yeah.
So, but there it is. So here it is. Like basically, I don't really think there's any more we can say about this other than Dark Horse wants to play catch up with Marvel and DC.
What's the best comic series or IPs from Dark Horse that isn't Star Wars?
I like Hellboy. They do Aliens as well. Those can be good. I don't think. I mean, like I think the recent one is not that good, but it's like just the first one. But like those, you just look up like Dark Horse, you can find like their titles.
Actually, feel a bit stupid. I think I read some Predator and Terminator once, and not long ago. I think that was Dark Horse.
Yeah, like they're you, like it's basically like those types of franchises.
Yeah,
you can find like under the Dark Horse title. So if you like Aliens and Predator, like I said, Hellboy. I love the Hellboy comics because I liked and I also liked for the most part I liked the first one and for the most part the second one of the Ron Perlman Hellboy movies.
Yeah,
and like if you like those, then you would like the books.
Yeah. I like the first Ron Perlman Hellboy. That one was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hate the others, but
the second Ron Perlman one was like middle of the road for me, but I enjoyed it more than the David Harbour one because I think they butchered Hellboy in that movie in a way. There's like only really one scene that I was like actually liked in that movie, and that was the walking house when he goes and he's trying. What is he trying to look for? I can't remember, but all I remember is because it was very like Guillermo del Toro, kind of like Pan's Labyrinth looking.
Yeah.
And that's like the one scene I really liked in the movie, and the rest of it was like I can't even fucking remember really. Yeah. So Trey's saying they made great Predator comics, and Soul Session says the Predator Hunters comics are good reads. They combine old comic lines into a sequel series.
The Dark Horse Predator comics I was reading was about Schwarzenegger's character's brother, who was a cop in L.A., I think. So
basically kind of like Predators 2, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But it tied into the first movie pretty damn well. Had a Russian babe join after a while too.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Okay, well, like I said, I don't think there's any more we can say there, so I'm going to close that tab. So it leaves basically to end on the Predator movie, the next Predator movie, and I think we should start like putting air quotes around Predator because let's be real, it's not going to be Predator that we know.
It's going to be an incompetent one, I'm pretty sure.
So I did not share the site that was going around on Twitter. I found this on CBR, which is essentially the same information. But it says next Predator movie gets new title will be an origin story. The producers behind the next Predator movie revealed the film is titled Skull and will serve as an origin story about the Predators coming to Earth. Which in itself could be interesting. However,
problem. Pirate pistol.
Yeah.
It has to take place before the pirate pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's not a. You're breaking the lore.
So, it's not. If the plot that we're going off of is correct, then it's not pre-pirate pistol.
It has to be pre-pirate pistol. But from what I saw, this is going to be in the Old West.
And I'm saying like it's that's why I said it's not pre-pirate pistol, which means it's breaking the lore.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right.
Well, do we know for a fact that it's going to be like as an origin story though?
See, the thing is, I don't know. They're just saying it's going to be an origin story, but in the way, it's going to be like their version of an origin story. So, like,
Well,
is
they
it
have.
going to be like genuinely like based off of the existing lore? Or is it going to be what they want the Predator's origin to be?
Well, then they have to make sure to let us know which movies they're ignoring. Then,
Mm-hmm.
if they're just following the first movie, then fine, no problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the second one is in that canon, then we have a huge problem.
Yeah. All right. The producers behind the next Predator movie revealed more about its plot and timeline in addition to its title. Speaking to Collider, producers John Davis and John Fox said the movie is called Skull and will follow a female hero as she battles the Predators. It goes back to what made the original Predator movie work. It's the ingenuity of a human being who won't give up, who's able to observe and interpret, basically being able to beat a stronger, more powerful, well-armed force. In this case, whammon power.
Yeah, and they need to keep in mind that the guy who did beat the Predator, he wasn't like a chicken-legged fellow, was he? You know,
No.
he had a lot going for him other than brains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unlike the previous Predator movies, Skull will take place in the distant past, serving as an origin story for the Predator's time on Earth. It actually has more akin to The Revenant than it does any film in the Predator canon. You'll know what I mean once you see it, said Fox. However, he and Davis refrained from revealing the exact time period for the movie. You can use your imagination. It is early, teased Davis.
Well, if it's from the colonial times, then actually there won't be that much of an issue.
Well, I don't know. See, the thing is, I don't know. Because technically, depending on how far back they go.
Yeah,
really.
because that pistol says 17 something on it. Doesn't mean, the person who owned it was killed when the pistol was made. Could have been killed 50 years later holding the pistol, right?
A report from earlier this year stated Predator 5 Skull will center on Key, a member of the Comanche tribe who goes against gender norms and traditions to become a warrior. In May 2021, discussing film, reported Indigenous American actor Amber Midthunder had secured the movie's lead role, presumed to be that of Key. However, her casting remains unofficial for the time being. Dan Trachtenberg is directing Skull from a script by Patrick Eisen. Davis and Fox revealed the movie is probably 3/4 of the way through production while praising Trachtenberg for his efforts behind the camera. Watching dailies, you just understand how his vision is completely unique. He's got his own language and it's fresh and it's cool and it's interesting.
Well, the guy who directed 10 Cloverfield Lane, I'll give him props for that guy because that movie was awesome.
I did like 10 Cloverfield Lane. However, I mean, I know a director can do wonders with a weak script, but sometimes a script is like so shit that not even the best director could save it.
Yeah.
So
this next bit though, that's what's really breaking the movie.
Hey, A-List Productions, good evening to you. Like the first 4 Predator films, Skull was conceived as R-rated. Keeping that in mind, Davis said it could easily end up PG-13 once the final cut is finished. He went on to claim the movie will mark a return to form for the franchise after the critical and commercial disappointment of 2018's The Predator. I think this is a worthy compliment to the first one. It's going to be as good.
Not if it's PG-13, because the violence done to humans in these movies is a character of its own. It doesn't work without it because it's basically what would happen to humans if they were being hunted in the big games reserve, right?
Yeah, which is with a couple exceptions of like kind of issues I have with Predators, it's kind of like the same thing where it's like the humans were on this big game preserve and they were the ones being hunted.
Yeah, well, it's technically what's going on in Predator 1 as well.
Yeah, I'm saying that's the crux of the Predator films, essentially.
Yeah, it's the whole point. Aliens taking trophies from humans, hunting them. So if it's PG-13, you won't see the head get chopped off or anything. I mean, the Predator rips out the spine and the head.
Yeah.
You can't do that in PG-13.
No. And so ask Stallone and the production company how well Expendables 3 did when they made that PG-13.
Oh, he got shit for that.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
The movie Predators wasn't bad. No, it wasn't bad. Like I said, like, it's like it was enjoyable for the
Die
most
Hard
part for me.
5.
I've had like one or two exceptions, particularly with Lawrence Fishburne's character in the movie and a little bit there. However, for the most part, it's a simple plot. It's a simple plot. These people are dropped into literally an alien world. They have no idea where they are, and they find out they're being hunted, and they find out it's one big game preserve, and they're the prey.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne's character.
I have a problem a little bit with his character as well. No,
Lawrence Fishburne's character was originally supposed to be Arnold's character from Predator 1.
Mm-hmm. That would have been actually kind of cool.
Yeah, but he said no and wanted to do the new Terminator shit instead.
What happened to you, Arnie? Pretty much. So like there's basically, like I said, like the exceptions are with like a little bit with the characters, but for the most part, the plot itself, as simple as it is enjoyable. It's a lot more enjoyable than the Predator, but still enjoyable. Like I said, like for me, the Predator films stop at Predators. I would actually go as far as saying there's only 2 Predator movies if you think about it, Predator 1 and 2. But I kind of include Predators as an offshoot to the 2 Predator movies.
It doesn't do any harm to the lore at all. It's just it makes sense for the Predators to kidnap people. They certainly have the means, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't tie that well into the story of the other 2.
Yeah. Where it's not tied directly to any of the plots in like the first 2 movies. Like the first 2 movies are like the, I guess, core of the plot with the Predator. And then Predators is a spin-off, like an offshoot.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, if you're like curious to see like more of this, hey, you got this movie here. You don't need to watch that necessarily to understand the first 2 movies.
It's actually even they actually work better as just self-contained stories.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what the second one is to the first one. There's a little bit of tie-in, but
mm-hmm.
it would absolutely work without it.
It's like the same thing with Topher Grace in Spider-Man 3. He just doesn't work as a bad guy. He's like, doesn't work. Nothing against the actor himself, but he's not believable as a bad guy.
I like the fact that the character was a serial killer, though. I thought that was a cool twist.
That was like the only believable part of that, just because of my psychology major background and like reading about psychopaths, is that they do present themselves as normal people. They like, at least for the most part, there are different branches of psychopathy, but for the most part, I think like Ted Bundy, like in all sense of the word, presented himself as normal. He wasn't by any stretch of the word, but he presented himself as normal. He was like he looked like a Boy Scout, essentially. And that's one of the believable things about his character. However, Topher Grace is not himself in his acting is as believable as a bad guy.
Oh, it just struck me. All the fucked up shit I come up with in D&D. I'm screwed. You're a psychology major. Damn it.
Fucking hell. Yeah, but I'm a psychology major. Yep. So basically, like a little bit of education in that regard is they present themselves as normal people. That's why whenever they are caught, you get the neighbors going, like, he was such a quiet, unassuming person. Yeah. Inevitably, you get that. And that's because they are able to act as chameleons amongst the normal society in a way.
It's like a mimic almost.
Yeah. So basically, that part of his character I liked. because he kind of came across as like, why am I here? I'm not a criminal, but you find out, oh yeah, by the way, no, he's the worst fucking offender in that group.
Yeah.
So that aspect of the character was believable, just not Topher Grace as that character.
He can't even keep himself from being a serial killer in that situation either.
No,
because he tries to kill the chick near the end.
Yeah,
which is, I mean, come on, priorities.
Yes, that's again, just knowing what I know, they were pretty accurate. They were pretty accurate in that regard. He could have just been a regular dude, but then it would have made sense for them to catch them because they were kind of catching certain individuals, and just a regular dude would not have worked in that plot. So I did appreciate the twist in that regard. But there it is, folks. Those are the 3 topics I had to cover in the time we had. It's going a little after 9:30 my time right now. We've been going for almost an hour and a half. And in about 30 minutes, the Geeks and Gamers Warzone stream will be starting over on the Twitch channel. So I'm going to start wrapping it up here. And I want to thank everyone for stopping by to this stream and to watch me have an aneurysm, watch a vein pop here and there when I was reading some of those articles or paragraphs. So thank you, everyone, for joining me. I got to figure out my schedule tomorrow evening because I don't know. Sometimes I do appear on the Fortnite stream for Geeks and Gamers. However, if I'm not going to be on it, what I might do instead is stream on my own Twitch channel around 8:30 p.m. my time. I got to figure out what game I'm going to stream. If I want to make a return to Twitch, since I got Streamlabs to work again for the most part, alerts still don't work. But I don't know what else to do. I can't. Oh yes. I did watch part 2. I actually did enjoy it, but I don't want to give like a final kind of judgment until I finish. I have the book over there. I'm rereading The Long Halloween. So I want to reread The Long Halloween before Saturday, because what I'm thinking about doing for Talk Nerdy to Us at 10 p.m. Eastern, because it's going to be on my channel, is dedicating that time to having like a spoiler discussion for both parts 1 and 2. So I got to make sure my co-host, Steph, thank you so much, Phil, for posting the link in the chat. Steph, my host, My Nerdy Home, Steph has watched it by then. So I watched it on Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure there's ways to sail the high seas if you don't want to pay for it. But I want to reread The Long Halloween before I give any real thoughts in regards to like both parts 1 and 2 whenever I give like a breakdown of it. Okay, cannot wait. Good on you, Maza. Can't wait to see you there. And thank you for posting my Twitch link. Yes, I have a branding problem. I'm Jade Shadow on YouTube and JadeFire_Fire on Twitch. But yes, I gotta figure out a game to play for when I make my comeback on Twitch tomorrow evening. So, before I play the whole how D&D makes you a Satanist, Stieg, again, let everybody know in the chat where they can find you and any other streams you're going to be on coming up. So I'm going to mute myself while I bring up the video.
Well, Alora's channel tomorrow, OG Star Wars, as usual, every Thursday, almost every Thursday for over a year now, I think. And then, on Teresa Martin's channel, we've started to do Lord of the Rings talk. We're talking about the books. We're doing, I think we did 7 chapters of Fellowship last time. It's me and Teresa and Lady Gravemaster, and Toriel is going to be on too, but she was sick this weekend. So a lot of fun. We do like in-depth talk about the chapters. It was way more fun than I thought it would be, and I was certain it was going to be great fun. So looking forward to the next time. That's it, pretty much.
All right, well, everybody, go check out the Tolkien discussion if you're at all interested in that topic. I'm pretty much became a full-fledged nerd thanks to Tolkien. I would say that was my introduction into fantasy, and from there it was all a path into nerd culture. So to and hey Will, sorry, I'm just wrapping up. Hopefully you go back and enjoy the replay. But thank you so much for stopping by.
Did you feel represented in the Lord of the Rings?
Well, I'm about the size of a dwarf, so technically yes. But
Gimli.
but like basically like for me, just to give like my own soapbox, I guess, thoughts is I didn't read these books to be represented, because even though there are humans in Tolkien's world, it's a fantasy story, and it's going to involve humans and dwarves and hobbits and elves, orcs and urkai and so forth. So for me, it was all about the quality of characters, not the quantity of characters. So if there weren't that many female characters in there, I didn't care. Yet, yes, I think in terms of the female characters, I'm probably personality-wise closer to Eowyn. So I kind of see myself in that character. But for the most part, I didn't care. It was all about like the universal messages, like the themes of brotherhood and friendship and loyalty and trust and bravery, a true bravery and things like that. Not the stunning and brave kind we see in today's society. That's what I cared about. Didn't matter if I myself was represented because I'm like half Arabic. That
Right.
Tolkien's lore was based as a mythology on like was centered as a mythology for Britain.
Yeah. You know what? When I grew up, probably my favorite movie was Beverly Hills Cop. I wasn't a cop. I'm not from United States, and I'm not black, but I liked it anyway.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
So there you go. There you go.
I did try the banana tailpipe trick quite a few times, and it worked.
Oh yeah, you told some stories.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, but we were lucky enough to grow up in a time when like we weren't this fucking stupid when it comes to stories and things like that. Like we actually read the stories as stories and not, do I see myself in this story?
Yeah.
I did. It's been a while since I've watched them, but I did. I've read the books. I've watched those, and I've watched the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies, as well as the Peter Jackson Hobbit films, and I got my own thoughts on the Hobbit movies. But
You know what? When we play D&D,
Mhm.
I bet you the players don't see themselves in the characters either.
Not really.
So where does representation have to happen in D&D when they're not playing themselves anyway?
Yeah, it doesn't. It really
Yeah,
doesn't.
that shoots down one big narrative right there.
Yeah.
Because it's role playing. You don't play yourself.
No.
So why do you have to be represented?
No. And speaking of D&D, we're going to leave you on this. D&D is Satan's game, ladies and gentlemen. So good night and take care.
I do not think that many parents are aware of what's inside the game. In fact, in my presentation, I show many pictures from the inside the books just to show the images of this game. I mean, the gruesomeness of this game and the occult link to it.
Well, I know that when I did my message, and this has happened, I have letter after letter where people took the pieces. Now, there's sixes involved in the pieces of the game, but they take the pieces of the game, they would throw them in the incinerator or the fireplace, and screams would come out because there seemed to be some kind of spiritual forces inhabiting those pieces, and children would drop out of life. They didn't want to study anymore. What are the pieces, for instance?
Well, this game affects the most intelligent of our children. And the pieces include white witches, wizards, necromancers, the clerics, that type of thing. It includes evil wizards. It's a white versus black witchcraft. The good versus evil is white versus black witchcraft. And Anton LaVey, the writer of the Satanist Bible, says there is no such thing as white witchcraft.
Well, being a Satan worshiper, he should know.
Yeah, he should.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.